Good morning, everybody. It is day 5 of building the business, and it is 4 a.m. and been up for about an hour. So, hey, whoever said building a business is easy, it's not. So, yesterday spent all day in the forge, dealing with the water issue that turned out to be a problem for the whole building and not just for the unit that we have there. And so we were working on that and trying to get all that squared away. I tried several different things to fix this leak. I can show you some of the stuff if you've ever run into this, but it was a really interesting plumbing job that somebody did on a sewer pipe that is actually failing now, and we're having to fix it. So luckily, I've got a friend that actually godparents to our daughter Anna Grace, and I went over to his house last night, and he showed me how to fix this issue and gave me a bunch of stuff to be able to fix this today, and very appreciative to him for that. It's great to have really good people in your life that can help you whenever you need it. So that's what. So I got to go back there today, and so this will be day 2 of not being able to work on the website, which I need to get the website out. But hey, it was a good day, and I actually made a couple of contacts yesterday. People already knew, but I was able to run into them and get the word out there that I'm building the business, and that I need some. We'll be doing service, like kind of like a white label service. So, they seemed real receptive to that, and I expect to be getting some business from those interactions just yesterday while fixing plumbing. So that's how it's done. You've always got to be networking, especially when you're first building your business. But you always need to be networking. But especially while you're building your business, you need to be out there when you run into people. I know it's tough. I know none of us want to encroach on another person. And sometimes when, you mention stuff like, say, hey, I'm building a business and, can you help me out with this? And it's kind of uncomfortable because they're like, I didn't want a sales pitch from you now. I'm going to start avoiding you, especially when it's people people are naturally apprehensive to sales. So but it's okay. Get the word out there. You're not trying to close the sale on them right today, but you need to get your name out there. You need to have cards with you. You need to be handing those out, and that's what I do. So it's very important. Okay, we're gonna go through more of that, and as we build the business, I'll tell you about some of these things that happen, and then how we'll follow back up, and I'll say, well, when I told you about running into Steve at the condos and told him about the business and ended up getting all kinds of different jobs from him and leads and stuff like that. So yeah, but today's talk is what I wanted to talk about today is the 3 parts of building a service business. Because like I said yesterday, whenever you go to build a service business or a business of any kind, you're like, okay, I'm gonna open a business. I'm gonna open a business. I'm gonna run a business. I want to do this. I want to do that. And so you're like, okay, day 1, it's like, okay, what do I need today? I need a website. So I go to build a website. But in your mind, your mind's always running all of these things. It's like I want to do this, but I don't know. I'm just going to do it. Other people have done it. I'm gonna get started, and I'm gonna need to get an ad, and I'm gonna need to do some marketing, and I'm gonna need to do this, and I'm gonna need to do that. Okay, but if you break it down into parts, right? It's like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So you just take it one bite at a time. That's how I've always done really, really tough things, especially in software development. As it's truly, especially back in the day, like it's got easier the more tools that have been created over time. But, back 15 years ago, we didn't have these tools that we have today. And software development was one of the hardest things. I was like, I could do brain surgery easier than I could, code, because it's so difficult when things did not work and the information was not out there and you had to figure it out. And things changed daily because they were growing so fast. It was a very difficult thing. So I always was like, I'll just take it one bite at a time. This is how I do these big monumentous projects that I know when the concept comes out on a napkin, that the culmination of it at the end of the day is 2 years down the road. So, and you've got a ton of stuff to do between concept and actually finishing it out. But that's how you do it, one bite at a time. So the other day I was thinking, okay, I'm building a service business. What's entailed in that, right? And I broke it down into basically 3 really easy parts, and that is leads, sales, and service, the actual service. So to build a service business, let's start backwards, right? So to build a service business, first you have to have a service. You need to have a service, because you're trying to sell a service. So you need to have the service. You need to be able to, if it's, and what our service is, right? This is Host Possible. So our service is vacation rental management. Now that can take on different meanings, right? If you're doing vacation rental management, you might be doing your own properties. You might be doing, and so your service is basically servicing your own units. So you're going to have to maintain those, and you're going to have to service your actual guest. So, and the guest experience. So that is your service. And so, that's what you have to do. But, you might be a vacation rental manager that all you do is you will take on new owners and you'll rent their properties for them. And, you outsource all of the maintenance, like you have other services in town or something that provides all of the maintenance and provides all of those duties. You might even have cleaning companies that come in and take care of the cleaning and all of that for you. And so that's your service. So all you have to do is perfect the service to, your owner by renting their property, servicing your guest. Going further down, you might have a vacation rental management company that also offers, besides renting to their managing other people's properties, you might be providing services. Like you might provide cleaning services. Like you have cleaners, and so to grow your business, you're providing cleaning for you're doing like a white label cleaning for other folks that are renting their properties out. So you might be providing cleaning. So you would need to, understand that service and how that's going to work. Or if you're wanting to do that, you need to understand that service, how that's going to work, how you're going to, market that, how that's going to logistically work for you. If you might be in the vacation rental business and you might be offering maintenance services, you might be offering inspection services, you might be offering shopping services, you might be providing experience services. So there's all kinds of different things that you could a la carte in the vacation rental business pick and choose from. Here's how I'm going to offer these services to be able to grow my main business, which is renting properties for other people, right? And so, I've seen it where, part of your business might be real estate, right? You might be a real estate agent And that's how you're growing your rental management business, because you're making that first contact with folks that are looking to buy a property. So they're looking to buy a property, and not only do you sell them a home, you sell them your service of being able to rent those homes. So, whatever it is, that's your service. You need to perfect that part. And obviously, I think you would have that down, because none of us would have went in business if we didn't know how to do the one service part of it that we wanted to actually do, right? That's what we chose to do. This is the business we want to be in. And if you're, bought this business and you're trying to figure out like, okay, what do I do now? Hopefully they had systems and things in place, and you'll have to do some crash coursing and get her done. Okay, so backing up from the service now, once I have a product, so now this is a service business. My product is the services that I offer, so that's my product. Obviously, like any store, if I have a store and I have products in it, I'm not going to stay in business very long if I don't sell those products. So I have to be able to sell the product. And so we have our service and we need to sell it. So you need to ask yourself, are you a salesperson? How are you going to sell this service? And when I'm talking about sales, I'm not talking about, an ad on Facebook, right? That's different. That's the first part. That's the lead generation part. I'm talking about the sales part. Once you get the lead, right? How do you sell them? Are you planning on using landing pages and doing some sort of click funnel? Are you planning on doing some sort of, mailers that, for your lead generation that lands them on some sort of click funnel on a website where you take them through this whole process that's all online, all not part of you? Now, I suggest that this is a way that you get owners, because it takes the human element out of it. Like, because, I can 1,000x something that's online, but I can't even 2x, 3x, 10x myself, right? So it's like you can have multiple workers online, meaning, I can have plenty of technology repeating the same action over and over and over and over and over and over and over again online, but I can't do that with this human interaction. Like, luckily, this is not a business where you need thousands of different sales, unless you were doing maintenance services and stuff like that. You're going to be continually selling, but you're going to have your limits, right? I never suggest that, if you're a, 2-man outfit, that you're going to be able to take on 50 properties, right? Like, if you could sell 50 properties this month, it wouldn't behoove you to sell 50 properties this month, because you wouldn't have the capacity for them. It's just like, yes, right? If you have 5 properties and they're all booked, you can't sell any more nights because they're booked. You have no vacancy. So that's going to be the same here, but you need to decide, how are you going to sell? Are you going to meet people in person? And if you do meet people in person, how do you get that? How are you going to get that sale? One way so my suggestion, because prior to my technology background, I was in sales. The best tips I can give you, and I'll probably do some more elaborate videos on sales and sales techniques for, this type of thing, and I'll share some situations with you when I get to those for myself. Right? Is telling is not selling. Right? If I meet with somebody and I just start rattling off all the benefits and what we do and what we can do and all of that, then it's like they could go to a website for that, and I'll be like, and that'd be the first thing I'll say, is like, hey, I'm not going to say that we've reinvented any kind of wheels here. We have not reinvented any kind of wheels. What you're buying is me. You're buying my character. You're buying my drive, and you're buying the fact that I've put in my case, put my name behind my business, right? My name that I don't want to go bad. So I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that I do the best job possible. And, that at the end of the day is my pitch. But, right? Because what I did is I will set myself equal with everybody else, right? I'll level the playing field. I can do anything anybody else can do. So you can go to any company out there, right? You can go to any company. We can all do the same stuff. Now, that's true to a point. But then you got to interject why you're different. Why you're different than the rest. But the biggest tip that I can give you is to not tell, but to ask questions. People love to talk, right? When they're talking, they love you. Like if you're just sitting there listening, yeah, they love you. And so, listen a whole lot, and that's not behooving of most salespeople, right? Because a lot of what we call salespeople, what we personify as salespeople are people that can just talk, right? But the best salespeople are those that can do two things very well. They can listen really well. Well, actually, three things. They can listen really well. They can ask very good questions. But even if you ask terrible questions, you're probably still better than a salesperson that doesn't ask any questions at all. But the questions are the most important. And then the third thing that makes a salesperson really good is that they can tell stories. Right? So a salesperson that can listen to listen, right, to your prospect, who can ask very good questions, and that can then tell really good stories, right, is a person that sells. So, for example, and this is not the sales video, but, for example, just to give you an example, I meet you and we talk a little bit. So first thing, in any sales conversation is to build rapport. So first thing I do is not jump into sales. It's like, hey, where are you guys from originally? Oh, we're from Florida. Oh, great. You're from Florida. I love Florida. We've taken my daughter down to Florida. What part of Florida? Oh, what's your favorite thing about Florida? Oh, well, you have family there and, okay, you lived there all your life, or, you moved there because you love the sunshine, you love to be warm, no allergies. Oh, okay, you love alligators. No. What do you hate most about Florida? And then you're just listening. Oh, you didn't grow up there. You grew up in Texas. Oh, you love tech, so you're finding out. It's like, oh, what's y'all's favorite thing to do when you guys go out? Like y'all go, y'all been married for 10 years. Where's your favorite vacation? What makes you love vacations? Hey, what prompted you to get into owning your own property? How did this happen? How did you end up with a property in Pigeon Forge? And listen to them. Listen to them tell you why. So you're needing a rental manager. What for? What's your goals here? You needing, 100% passive, you're wanting to be involved, you're needing somebody just to do maintenance, this is, you watched a video and somebody told you you're going to get rich, what's your motivation here behind getting a property? You want to find out what their motivation behind talking to you today, right? Why are they talking to you? Because they're going to give you everything you need to make a sale, right? Because they are talking to you because for one reason, because they have a problem. They have a problem. And you can't sell to that person's problem or know anything about them. You need to know how they think and how they operate and what they're looking for. And then all you do is once they give all that to you, you just give them all of the details, right? And here's one thing I suggest, and a lot of people won't do this, but to be honest, if you really want, you can grow your business by being very laxed and just being not doing anything really salesy. You can tell you'll still grow your business. It'll just be a lot slower, but you can just be you. You can give people all the time. It's like, hey, here's what we do. This is how we do it. This is how much we charge. And this is how I feel about this. And here's how I feel about that, and then say, you guys just call me on the phone and let me know, whenever, if you guys want to go with us. And you could do that. You'll build your business. It's not real salesy and, it's real hands-off, real laid back, but I would, if you go to a meeting, I suggest that you have the contract ready. You have a contract ready, a 12-month contract, because you should never go into this thing on a month-to-month basis because you're going to do a ton of work to, one, the minute you get their property, you're going to have to build a listing. You're going to have to syndicate that out. Sometimes there's cost involved in that. You're going to go into their property. You're going to fix it, right? Because you'll go in and you'll fix everything that's wrong because you're going to want to make a good impression with your guests, things like that. You're going to do a lot of work. And the last thing you want them to do is you want to go into their property and fix it all up for them, get it staged and all that, and they turn around and sell it and flip it for a big profit. And then you did all of this work, put all these listings together. You've got guests out there 90 days out or more, and they are now selling the property, and now you're going to go through more work, and you didn't make any money on that property. So you don't want to do that. So you want to have at least a 12-month contract. You want to have it with you, and you want to, when you're done and you've answered all of their questions, you need to, in sales, it's ask for the money. You need to ask for the money. But in this case, there's no money that changes hands, right? You want to ask for the sale. You want to say, okay, well, I tell you what, here's the plan. Let's go ahead and move forward and do an assumptive close. You're going to assume that they love you. Hey, let's go ahead and move forward and you need to put some urgency in this. I've got a lot of things coming up, and if we want to hit this part of the season and we want to hit the ground running, we need to get this thing moving today. We need to sign this contract, and here you need to have a plan of action ready. You need to explain the contract to them. You need to have a plan of action together, and then get them to sign it that day. Make the sale while you're there, because you don't have time to wait for them to call you back. Say, hey, let's take care of this now. Let me get you on the roster right now so I can get my folks working on your listing, before, I've got 3 other meetings next week. You don't want to get those 3. You don't want to be behind those 3. Or you say, well, I've got 2 ahead of you right now. I can get you into the roster, but, I need to get you on paper today so I can get you down in that line because I got 3 other meetings next week. Those 3 might be ahead of you. It might be 3 months before I can get you going. And I'm telling you, you want to be with, and in my case, Martin Vacation Properties. Okay, so that's the part on the sales, right? But to be honest with you, the sales and the service is the easy part of this business. The hard part of this business, or at least I feel like the hard part, I'm like, the service I'm good with, the sales I'm good with. This is the part I'm not good with. I've not been good with, and because it requires lots of money and lots of is leads. You have to get, this is the part that requires all the networking, requires all of the money, and is the most competitive part of the vacation rental business, and is the one part that I am worried about the most, and and maybe what you'll get the most part of out of this as I go through building this business, because it's like anything else. It's not going to beat me, and it's not going to beat you. You just have to never quit. You never willing to give up. You just, you look at what you got to do and you go do it. But getting the leads is going to be the part that is probably going to be the most difficult, right? And it requires you to do things like what I'm doing right now, right? Creating video, like, Host Possible, in a way, was the culmination of it started because I needed to get leads for my software that I'm building, which is built. I just need to pull the trigger and get it put out there in a production environment and be ready and have a setup to handle the customer service and getting people set up and all of that stuff. But in reality, Host Possible was the beginning of that deal. And then I ended up with all kinds of ideas of how great it would be to have a really cool community of hosts that crowdsourced some of our biggest challenges and problems, like this one, like the lead problem. Like, what if we could crowdsource that and we solved that problem for ourselves? Like, we created something that could get us leads, and we solved that lead problem for hosts. Wouldn't that be awesome? And so I know that people have done it, right? So one part is, getting your name out there. You can do blogs, you can do, setting yourself up as an expert, right? Offering something that's an easier sell, like a service, so that gets your foot in the door, like a cleaning service, right? So you're offering cleaning. Now you're cleaning their cabins, and then they know that, oh, well, they also do vacation rental management. So, maybe I'll just, instead of just having them clean, I'm tired of hosting this thing myself. I'll just have them host it, right? So cleaners are really good lead generators. The other thing is, you might, go out and network real estate agents, right? You might become a real estate agent. That might be your into getting your leads. You might do billboards. You might do, you might wrap your vehicle. You might do Facebook ads or Pinterest or Instagram, Google. So there's all kinds of ways to get leads coming into the business. But getting those leads, one very important note is you need to set up some sort of funnel system for your leads to fall into, right? Because what's really important is tracking, right? I want to track my efforts. I want to know what actually works. If I put a Facebook ad out there, I better have some sort of coupon code, some sort of code to let me know that the money I'm spending on that ad actually generated some sort of action that lets me know I should do that again, or I need to forget that because it doesn't work, and I need to move on to something else. So whether you have your website out there with articles that you're putting in a blog article, you need to have Google Analytics. You need to know how those things are functioning, right? Easiest way is always put some sort of code or coupon code that somebody should use to get something off that they might be able to, join up with you or do whatever, so you can sell them. Same thing with the referrals. If you're going to, allow somebody to refer somebody to you, make sure you give them something for referring, like a bird dog fee. Give them a code so that you know who's out there giving you the most referrals. If you got somebody that's able to get you lots of referrals, then, you might up the money, the ante with them. You might give them, like if I had a real estate agent that was like really good at getting me referrals, right? I might cut them in on a big part of the profit, for doing that. I might bring them extra materials. I might make brochures for them. I might make their job a lot easier if I know it's working, right? But if you're not tracking, you have no idea. So you don't know what avenues. You might be thinking, you might have 10 different avenues out there, and in your mind, you're assuming it's one thing. It may be another thing that's actually working for you, and you double down on the thing that's not doing anything, and you totally ignore the very thing that's getting you all the business. So 100%, when you jump into this lead thing, you need to be tracking it, right? And this is why when you're buying something on a website, how did you hear about us? They want to know. They want to know, how did you hear about us, so that they can double down on the things that are working, and they can start ignoring or wasting energy and revenue on things that don't work whatsoever. It's like, why would you put an ad on Facebook if it don't work, if nobody ever buys it? Same thing you should be doing in your vacation rental business, right? If I put out a Black Friday ad, if I put out 10 Black Friday ads, every single one of them will have a different it'll have a different code, a coupon code, promotion code, so that I know which one of those worked and which one of those didn't. But here's the thing, A/B testing, right? Like in ads, I can run an ad with a certain title and with a certain coupon code. Then I can turn around and run the same ad with a different title, same image, and it may perform better than the one with the other title. So, having those coupon codes lets me know which titles work best for, getting that business. Same thing with, images. You can change out images and things like that. It's just really throwing everything out on the wall to see what sticks. So, but that's pretty much it. That is your business in a nutshell. So, instead, I'd rather you, instead of thinking of your business as as a whole, I'd like you to see your business, your vacation rental business, in this aspect. If you're going to have a growth plan, and every business should have a growth plan. If, like, when this was a hobby for me and I was buying properties and fixing them up and things like that, that's not a growth plan. That's not a growth plan because, one, I didn't have an unlimited supply of cash. Now, if I had a venture capitalist, backing me, that had a lot of capital and was funding everything, then I could have had a growth plan. And that plan would be, okay, I have to buy properties. So I would have had to put a thing in place, a plan or criteria for buying properties. And then I would have had to have a certain amount of activity each and every single month, in search of these types of properties until I was able to buy enough of those to, or at least in a consistent basis where I could plan out and say, okay, consistently I'll be here by the end of the year. I should be here by next year. And 5 years from now, I should be by here. I'd have, by the end of the year, I plan on having 10 properties. And by the end of the next year, I plan on having, another 15 properties. And because I'm going to, as I go, I'm going to get more people and we're going to grow more. And that's a growth plan. I had no growth plan. It was just If I seen a property, I liked it, I bought it, fixed it up. Some we sold. So it's, that was not a growth plan. Today, look at your business in these three parts and have a growth plan. So, before this is over, as we go through these days, you'll see as I start, you can't start from the beginning and say, okay, I need to generate 20 leads a month and I want to sell 10 of those, right? That's not reality. First thing you need to do is get out there and get leads and then track that and say, okay, in May I got 20 leads. And out of those 20 leads, I ended up selling 3 of them, right? And we got 20 leads, and 4 of them I couldn't get in contact with. 16 of them I made contact with, but I was only set up meetings with 6 of them, and out of the 6 I was able to set a meeting with, only 4 of those actually signed on with us and signed a contract, right? And then now I have a plan. It's like, okay, if I get 20 leads, I'll get 4 sales. So next month, if I want to get 4 more sales, or I want to get 5 sales, then I need to adjust how many leads I get, right? And how many, shows I get, and then how many sales I get. And here's what happens. As you get better, you'll get more leads, you'll get more shows, and of those shows, as time goes on, you want to be able to get more business out of those shows. But the most important part of the business is, by golly, you better be able to, don't get caught up in all of the leads and the sales, because word of mouth is the best part of business. It's a little harder in this because I don't think that a whole bunch of, because that's a misnomer. I own cabins. I don't know a bunch of cabin owners. So, I don't know a bunch of people that I could refer. Like if you ask me for a referral right now for somebody that owned a cabin, that I know one other person that owns a cabin. So that, I could possibly refer to you. So word of mouth is not a big deal, but the most important part of your business right now is the service part of this business. You need to make sure that you're doing the job that you're selling. If you're selling somebody on, renting their cabin, or their condo or their beach house, get it done, right? You want to make sure that you're doing a good job for them. I don't promote, help, or encourage anybody to do half-hearted stuff. Give it everything you got. Provide a good service. Keep their properties clean. Make sure you're giving these guests the experience that they deserve, that they're paying for. And then I promise you, if you do that and you've got a good service, the leads and the sales will follow. And then get you some really good employees and treat them really, really good, and treat them how you would want to be treated. Not like you're their boss, but you're their servant, right? You get an employee, you're there to serve them because they're going to serve you. You serve their needs. And you get work done through other people by serving their needs. You help them come up, they will hold you up. But if you do not help your employees, if you do not help them rise, they will not hold you up. And, and that may be that you're creating your future competition. That's okay. That's okay. Nobody says that's not okay. There's going to be plenty. There's thousands and thousands of properties. You can't run them all. We're not all going to be Vacasa. Not all of us want to be Vacasa, right? I don't want to be Vacasa. I don't want to have, to be honest with you, I don't want to have 400 properties. I don't even think I want to have 200 properties, 50, to 100 sounds great. And that even might be too many. So not everybody wants to be that large. So serve your customers, and then whenever you get to capacity, put out the no vacancy sign, right? But you keep generating the leads and get them on a waiting list because you want them wanting your service, right? And then whenever a spot comes available, next person on the waiting list, you start calling your waiting list, and you'll always stay filled up. So, all right. Well, hope you guys found this valuable today. And so this was day 5. I might take a couple of days off, maybe 3, and then come back. But I might do a day 6 tomorrow. I know it's Friday. I will be working in some capacity, but I've been up really early the last couple of days, and doing all of this labor is really tiring. So might take a little bit of the morning off. I've got a lunch with a friend tomorrow, an old friend that's more successful than me, and hoping to glean a lot of great advice from that lunch, and just get reacquainted with an old friend is going to be great. So, and it's Friday, and I got a standing chiropractor appointment every Friday, so I'll be able to do that tomorrow and do a lunch, and I might end up making a video, but if not, my next video might be either Sunday or Monday, but until then, go out there, get your service together, start figuring out your lead thing and your sales thing, and if you've already got it all figured out, throw some stuff in a comment or throw me some personal messages, and help a brother out. Help a brother in need, and because I want to learn from you, and I would really love for everybody. I can't wait until this channel grows. I know it will, and we get a bunch of thriving community of rental hosts and rental managers, and we come up with some really great content, because I'm not going to be the only one. I put this in a playlist because I'm not going to be the only one making these videos. I created Host Possible to be a platform for not just me, but for us. I hope one day I'm not even on this channel. It's gonna be you guys. It's gonna be you guys making videos. We'll have the audience, and you guys create the content, because not everybody wants to create content every day, but you might have something valuable you want to share with the rental community, and you just need an outlet. Maybe I did a renovation. I did an awesome renovation. It could have been on HGTV, but if I called up HGTV and said, throw this on there, but this is the only one I ever want to do, they'd laugh at me, but I'm not going to laugh at you. If you got one content, but it's valuable, and you just want it out there for the masses, I'm going to throw it out there for you. And as this channel grows, I wanted to do a speech at a speech. I wanted to present at a conference, and I thought I had a really great presentation, and I was like, oh, this is going to be super valuable for people. They're going to want to see this, and this is going to be really valuable. I put a lot of effort into it. I sent it over to the people that make the decisions on who gets to present, and they rejected me. And the reason they rejected me is because I wasn't going to bring enough people. Like, they ask you, what's your YouTube channels, what's your website, what's your, all this. What they want to see is how many people are following you. So if you come and do a talk for us, that they know that a big amount of people are going to buy a ticket just to see you in person. So I didn't have that. But through Host Possible, we are all going to have that, right? So there's certain among you, once you get to a certain level in Host Possible, that you'll be allowed to say that you're speaking on behalf of Host Possible. And whenever you get that spot, we're going to mention it on Host Possible, and people will come, and then they will invite you to talk, because you will have the people to back it. So we are going to be a community. I'm even going as far as saying it's going to be owned by us, that I'm going to give ownership away of this to all of us. And it's kind of be like an REI, but 1,000 of us are going to own a big part of it. And So it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I'm going to put out more videos on that, so be looking for that on not this playlist, but on the regular channel, and we'll see what transpires from that. But all right, till next time, God bless.